Welcome back. This is Cloud 2K, and this is the Cloud Report. Mike Brown has officially been fired by the Sacramento Kings. Okay, he now joins a list of recent Coach of the Years to get fired within a year or two of them winning. Nick Nurse, Dwayne Casey were all guys that recently got fired after winning Coach of the Year. He took the Sacramento Kings to the playoffs for the first time in 16 years. They were, the 3 seed? Then they did kind of fall off a little bit last year. Very, very similar record, but the rest of the Western Conference got better. And then this year, they are now 13 and 19 as I'm recording this. They fired him at 13 and 18, but then they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers last night to now be 13 and 19. And if you look at me, I'm wearing the same exact thing. I'm recording this right after the Dorian Finney-Smith, D'Angelo Russell trade. So, get off me. This is coming out a day later, but my hair is an absolute mess right now because it is a Sunday. I went to the gym and I haven't done anything else. So back off a little bit. Yeah, man, Sacramento Kings are making a coaching change. This is an article by Jack Murray, Bleacher Report. I like having articles with this because it gives you a little bit more context, a little bit more details. Like right here, Doug Christie to be interim head coach. So we can go through this article together. We'll talk about it. And this also is a Cloud Report, so we will have our questions at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that if you want your questions answered. Go to my Twitter, Cloud2K, YouTube. I put out every Friday, Saturday. I'll say, hey, doing the Cloud Report on blah, blah, blah day. Leave your question below. Just reply to that tweet with your question, and I will answer it for you. Okay, so Shams Charania on the 27th. Yeah, December 27th. It is the 29th as I'm recording this, the 30th as you're seeing it. So a couple days ago, Shams came out and said that the Sacramento Kings are parting way with head coach Mike Brown. Sources told ESPN. Mike Brown finishes his time in Sacramento with a 107 and 88 overall record, which, for not making the playoffs for 16 straight years, the fact that he was, about 20-ish games over 500 with this team, I think speaks a lot. Right now, the Kings are, like I said, 13 and 18 when he was fired. They're now 13 and 19, but we'll go with 13 and 18 because it's kind of Mike Brown's time with the team. Doug Christie's been named the team's interim head coach. So, yeah, Doug Christie's been an assistant for the Kings since the 2021-2022 season. And, he also did play in Sacramento if you didn't know. The biggest thing a lot of people are talking about is when and how he was fired. So the tweet came up from Matt George that Sacramento Kings just fired Mike Brown right before the team boarded a flight to LA. He just ran a full practice and spent 15 minutes talking to the media. Bad. It's pretty easy to see the Sacramento Kings just don't know how to run an organization. We've seen it time and time again. Their inability to build a roster. They get lucky with a guy like DeMarcus Cousins. You can't build a roster without him. They get a guy like De'Aaron Fox. They've done better. They've done better with, they had Harrison Barnes. They went out and they get Domantas Sabonis. They drafted Keegan Murray. They bring, Kevin Huerter. Keon Ellis has been a great pickup, draft pick for them, even though they don't really play him that much. Maybe that's part of the reason they are unhappy with the way some of their younger guys are getting minutes. Then they go out and get DeMar DeRozan this past offseason. So, in the past couple years, they've been a lot better with trying to build teams. But again, it just hasn't worked out because they made the playoffs. They lost in the first round to the Golden State Warriors, if I remember correctly. And then it just hasn't been very good since. And then letting your head coach run a full practice with your players and then firing him, or not even running a full practice and then talking to the media, in his mind, gonna be the coach, and then firing him before you board the team plane is just awful. It's just really, really bad. There's a tweet here. He was talking to De'Aaron Fox. People have been dissecting that tweet that maybe De'Aaron Fox knew and stuff like that. Whatever. Blah. Brown was in his fourth coaching stint and has an overall record of 454 and 304. He led Sacramento to its first playoff appearance since 2005-2006 during the 2022-2023 season. And yeah, they lose to the Golden State Warriors, like I said. And then it also says here they have De'Aaron Fox, they have Domantas Sabonis, they have DeMar DeRozan, and I think a lot of people knew this team wasn't gonna be one of the top teams in Western Conference. Bringing DeMar DeRozan to this team was kind of a weird, I don't know, the fit. It was kind of a weird fit for him to be on this team. And they have a lot to figure out. They're the 12th in the Western Conference right now, and then they are just blatantly not a good team. They are not a good team. Now, I'll see if I can pull up here their team stats. They are the number 7 offense in the entire league, rating-wise, offensive rating-wise. And you kind of understand that with guys like De'Aaron Fox, You have Kevin Huerter. You bring in DeMar DeRozan. Keegan Murray, who's not been having the greatest season, still can provide some offense. And then Domantas Sabonis at center is kind of more of an offensive style center. They're doing their things. They were a top offense when they were in the playoffs a couple years ago. They're scoring the way a lot of people thought they were. The problem right now is defensively they are 17th, which is pretty much middle of the pack. But you look at, again, you still look at the starting lineup. De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Keon Ellis, whoever it may be, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and then Domantas Sabonis. You don't see a lot of good defenders in there. Keegan Murray has his moments where he can be a good defender. Keon Ellis, we know, is a really, really good young defender. But other than that, DeMar DeRozan's not known for his defense anymore, or really at all. But De'Aaron Fox can hold his own, but not really. Domantas Sabonis is not a defensive center. This team has a problem defending. This is one of those teams where they'll put up, they'll give up 130 points, but they'll put up 131. And that's not exactly a recipe for success in the NBA, because defense wins championships. We've known this time and time again. Now, where will Mike Brown go after this? That's a good question. We'll look at these. I mean, we'll use this right now. We'll use the win-loss here right now. Let's look at some teams that might have some head coaching vacancies and kind of see if maybe Mike Brown, because I do like Mike Brown. I think he's a good head coach. Do I think he's a top-level head coach? Maybe not. Maybe he's not a top 10, top 5 coach in this league, but I think Mike Brown is a very good coach. Now, these top guys, Cleveland, they're not. No, a lot of these guys are not moving on from their head coach. At least in my opinion, I don't see any reason for them to. Where you might see something is Chicago. I don't know if Billy Donovan's going to be there much longer. And I think Chicago would be a nice place because they have some young talent. Try to get that offense running. If Mike Brown can get that offense running up there in Chicago with Kobe White, with Josh Giddey if he stays on the team, I would assume I kind of blanked on that one now. And then whatever pieces they get for some trade, trying to see if maybe Patrick Williams can develop a little bit because he's not really getting much from him. And then some of these teams maybe, but I really like the Chicago thing because I just don't think Billy Donovan's going to be there much longer at all. Again, a very, very weird. There's a track record here. Let's look at these recent Coach of the Year winners. Mark Daigneault, they're phenomenal right now. He's not going to get fired anytime soon, I don't believe. Mike Brown was just fired. Monty Williams was fired. He left there, then went to Detroit, was really, really bad. So he had his whole thing. Tom Thibodeau's still there. Nick Nurse in Toronto is now in Philadelphia. Mike Budenholzer, Milwaukee, not coaching them anymore. Dwayne Casey, Toronto, not coaching there anymore. Houston, Mike D'Antoni, not coaching there anymore. Steve Kerr is still there, and then Mike Budenholzer in Atlanta. Greg Popovich. Apparently, he's doing a lot better now after his stroke. And Mitch Johnson's been really, really good in his plays. So shout out Greg Popovich while we're also right here. And then now we're starting to kind of get down there. But this is a lot of these guys that have recently won Coach of the Year that are now no longer on their teams, whether they got fired or like in Monty Williams' case, he said he kind of wanted to retire. Then Detroit gave him a big bag. So, you kind of have to take that one as it is. The NBA has a problem with short leashes on head coach, right? NBA GMs, I feel like, are never really in turmoil. I know right now, Rob Pelinka with the Lakers is kind of in some turmoil. People think he should be gone based on whatever, and he just made that trade yesterday. As you're seeing this with the Brooklyn Nets, trying to save his job a little bit. But a lot of times we see these head coaches are cut out, and a lot of times before they can really even build a culture. Culture takes years and years to develop. Coaches probably need 3 to 5 seasons to really start implementing a full culture into a team. And if you're moving on from coaches year after year after year, you're giving them 2 to 3 years, and then you're pulling them out. These players can't really build anything. These coaches can't really build a culture in a team. The players can't really buy into it because by the time things start really moving away, they're gone. Especially these bad teams. You know what I mean? Like you bring in a guy, you have 2 to 3 years where you're not very good. You're building something where it's like, well, we want to win. The thing about the NBA is you want to win, so you fire your coach, bring in somebody else, and now you're restarting the whole process over again. It's an epidemic, man. Something had to happen with the Sacramento Kings. I'm not saying I don't think Mike Brown was the right choice right now to make in firing him, but something definitely needed to change in Sacramento. Maybe now De'Aaron Fox might be gone. You know what I mean? We'll see how he feels about that. I'm sure Clutch Sports with Rick Paul are not happy losing their coach in the middle of the season. DeMar DeRozan, I don't know. He might just be on the team. Domantas Sabonis could be a guy that potentially gets moved as well because it's obvious they're not going to be very good. Maybe they'll sneak in. Maybe they'll fight for a play-in. Maybe they won't. But that's definitely not where this team wants to be. It's going to be hard to convince Sacramento fans to get behind this team going into another rebuild after missing the playoffs for 16 years, up until a couple years ago when they made the playoffs again. This team is kind of stuck in turmoil. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is a 1A on a championship team. I don't know if Domantas Sabonis is a 1A on a championship team. In fact, I don't believe Domantas Sabonis is. De'Aaron Fox, I don't think I'm convinced on that too. De'Aaron Fox is a very, very good player, but is he a 1A? I don't know. Maybe them together is more like a 1A, 1B situation, but we haven't seen it yet. Keegan Murray's a good role player. Keon Ellis, Kevin Huerter, these guys are like, you kind of have some pieces, but it's just not enough to win a championship. Do you sell high on De'Aaron Fox right now, on Domantas Sabonis right now, and kind of just build around like Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, get these younger guys in the team to kind of like be your next step? But again, that could be 3-4 years of being bad again, and I don't know if Kings fans are gonna want that. It's a really, really bad situation right now in Sacramento, especially now that you fired Mike Brown. I thought they were gonna give him at least through the season. The fact they're firing him now, I don't know, man. I've never been a huge fan of firing coaches midway through the season. I just think it sends a really, really bad message to your team. But, what do I know?
Oh, man.
Hey, you.
Who? Me?
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just kind of bored right now.
Do you like sports?
Yeah, I like sports.
How about podcasts?
Yeah, who doesn't listen to a podcast nowadays?
Then you should check out Timeout with J&G. Check out Timeout with J&G every Wednesday as they give their expert opinions and professional picks on NFL, NBA, and college football. Anything you could want, they do. Check it out on the screen now. Let's go.
Whoa, this podcast is awesome. Thanks, weird voice.
So for the first question today comes from Brighton Season. He says, thoughts on the Kings situation as far as coaching, situation, players, record, etc. Reading your comments kind of part of the reason I, made this video. So I feel like I kind of answered that. So yeah, you got like a 8 to 10 minute video explaining my thoughts on the Kings situation. So there you go. My second question comes from Levi, Tennessee. Who are your top 10 point guards of all time? Okay. This is like one of those situations where off the top of my head, I don't know if I'm going to be able to name you. Magic Johnson and Steph Curry are 1 and 2. I might have Curry at 1 at this point in time. I never got to see Magic Johnson play, so it's kind of hard for me to, put Magic above him, but I had to respect what Magic's done. So honestly, 1 and 2 are Magic and Curry. However you feel about that yourselves, I think they're undisputed 1 and 2. I think from there's a couple different people. I think it's between Oscar Robertson. I think it's between Chris Paul. I have my list up here, so that's what I'm trying to I have a list of names I'm trying to think about. Jerry West. I think I'm gonna go Oscar Robertson at 3 because I think he was just so far ahead of his time at how he was. Chris Paul at 4. I think I'm going to go Chris Paul at 4. I think he genuinely is. If you don't agree, I understand, but I genuinely think it is. Jerry West will be at 5. Now that's my top 5. This is where it starts getting weird. I think Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, the Pistons Isaiah Thomas, obviously, I think has to be in that kind of conversation. I think, obviously John Stockton. We can't forget about John Stockton, dude's the assist leader. I think I'd probably go John Stockton and then Isaiah Thomas. Is that fair? I mean, I know John Stockton doesn't really have rings, but we're talking about, best players of all time. You know what I mean? I feel like that's, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook might be in there, too. Gary Payton. Yeah. Steve Nash. That's 10 names. You can put them in any order you like, but I think that's my top 10. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. I've been doing some Fortnite. I've been doing my clips on Fortnite. Some people have you're calling me bots. I don't care, bro. I'm an OG on Fortnite. I haven't played Battle Royale in a couple years. I'm getting my ass kicked, but we're having a lot of fun. The channel's been in kind of a weird state recently. I haven't been getting as many views as usual, and I understand it's the holidays. People are busy, and I'm hoping 2025 can be a very, very big year because this is actually going to be the last video of 2024. I just want to thank you guys for a great year. I've been thinking about doing content. I've actually been making content for a couple years now, but then I do a couple videos, delete it because I didn't like it. But then beginning of this year, I fully bought into being a content creator, and it's been a lot of fun, man. I have an editor now. It's been a great time. We're doing the podcast time with J&G. We're now on playback, streaming on playback. Listen, we're growing slowly, and we've had some big months, some slow months and bad months. But I just appreciate everybody that chooses to watch me for any type of content, whether it's basketball, video games, Fortnite, if you're into any one of those other series. I just appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for watching.